This time we're going to have a couple changes. I tried out Gilliman. I'm going to try out Tigurius. I don't have points for both. No Land Raider. It feels weird, but we're going to try it. We're just trying out some new things. We're going to be playing Thousand Suns, so we'll get over to Mac's list and what he's playing. But let's go through the list real quick. We got a lot of characters in here. The more I want to put in different things, the more characters I want to put them in with. So obviously we got Calgar. I don't know how you play Ultramarines without Calgar. He's so good. The extra CPs. This is Gladius, so I'm sticking with my kind of formula. Just making some minor tweaks to add a few units here and there, seeing what I like. Uriel for the deep strikes. We said we got Tigurius, the captain with honor vehement to do the things. We got a Phobos librarian to give lone ops to some infiltrators. We got a Phobos lieutenant. We had 10 extra points. Gave him the relic for a 2-up save, 5-up feel no pain. He's going to give the shoot and move to the incursors. And then we have the biologist with the fire discipline to buff up the unit of Eradicators. So here's a big stack of Eradicators to get all the exploding hits. Company heroes, they usually run around with Calgar doing company hero things. 1 6-man bolt of Inceptors. I really like the full stack power. I was trying to play with some Stern Guard. I was going back and forth. Do I want some Intercessors to go with Uriel, or do I want him to run by himself? I can make them Assault Intercessors or regular. We're going to try sticky objectives this time. Tried it in the past, not a super fan, but with the new missions, having an extra battle line, it's not bad. So 1 unit of regular intercessors, 1 unit of fighty intercessors, 1 5-man of Stern Guard. We could have had 10, took the intercessors. 1 unit of incursors with a mine, 1 unit of infiltrators to go with the librarian, 2 units of scouts. So basically I had 3 scouts. That librarian cost me 1 of those scout squads. So going to suffer in the activations. Of course, we have the Lancer as well. So less activations, more characters. Does that matter? Will we be able to play the missions better? I feel like it's a little light on killing. It's been a struggle without the Land Raider. Having Gilliman kind of replace some of that stuff. I'm not sure if Tigurius and Stern Guard are going to be qualified as killing units, but maybe I just score points and it won't matter as much. So we'll see. I do have extra mortal wound defense in this versus Thousand Suns. Not exactly the plan I was testing, but if they don't do good enough to be worth it versus Thousand Suns, what are they going to be worth it against anyway? So like this is their best shot to do something useful. We'll see how it goes. Let's go take a look at Mac's list and his Thousand Suns list and see what we're going to be facing today.
So it's T-Sun's time. Gilliman ducked the match with Magnus, so I guess that's cool. I don't know. So obviously you've got Magnus, big surprise there, and a Warp Beast. They came down to 150. They were still really good at 165, but they've come down in points, so of course you take one. There are 4 units of rubrics in this list. I have a Exalted Sork, who is the Lord of Forbidden Lore. I have Ahriman, who is Ahriman, of course. They have the Casino Gun. This is a regular sorcerer who gives lone op 18-inch, and he gives lethal to the unit, less important. What is important is he has the Arcane Vortex, so is the Casino Gun. If you don't know what that is a Strength 6, -1 AP, 2 damage, psychic attack, that has 2d6 shots, but it is sustained 3. And you can reroll hits and wounds with psychic attacks and T-Suns, so you're literally just rolling up at the casino every time you shoot it. Have an Infernal Master, who is just an Infernal Master, and then I've got a little Terminator unit with a Terminator Sorcerer who has the uppy-downy teleport once a game. I like the unit. It's a little more durable than a Rubric unit, and it's not that many more points, so I'm kind of trying that out in here. So far, I've had some pretty good success with it. I've got a small unit of Zanger Enlightened, some trash. I've got some Cultists, some more trash, and then I've got some Zangers back there hiding behind Magnus. So some more trash. The trash is all a little different, and it does different things for the army, but it's generally just, please don't touch my rubrics, is the whole purpose of it. Magnus, of course, does Magnus stuff, so let's see how it goes.
All right, we're going to try some new missions today. I say that, and I draw it, and I draw it, and I draw it. I still get taken hold. So what the heck? But we do get Raise the Banners and Tipping Point. I haven't played Tipping Point yet, so that's kind of the stair-step hammer and anvil deployment. We also wanted to use the new GW layouts, so we're going to go with layout 8. So it's always interesting to kind of look at it on a piece of paper and then kind of put it actually on the table. So here it is in all its glory. The spacing is interesting. We had a Land Raider, a couple big vehicles kind of driving around on the table, looking at the measurements, looking at the sight lines, looking in, if you come from reserve. If you haven't done that, if you don't have a table, it's very interesting to kind of just walk through that. Yeah, Max kind of motioning at the table that this area, you can zone that out. You have some infiltrators or some deep strikes 9 inches. It creates this interesting sight line down here, whether you can come out, threaten your home base. It's definitely worth practicing. It's way different. This is a weird layout, and you're like, it has some interesting kind of knock-on effects when you start thinking about strategy, what you're going to build for your army. But we'll get into all that in the game, see how it comes out. This is our first time playing on it, so we have not studied it intently. I've already talked about our list, so quickly, here's the table. We're going to roll and see and deploy, and then we'll come back once we're all set up and see who goes first. All right, well, Max finishing up his final deployments. Just a quick look at the board. We had to pull out a lot of measuring sticks. We're like trying to measure all these angles. Even on turn 1, you're like, well, don't need a screen necessarily. Oh, but he's got teleports. Oh, yes, I do. So he's got the Terminator. So looking at the board, this is just a giant hole. We've measured it. I have infiltrators lining the board. Some scouts on the corners. These guys are back here. Nobody can get deep strike into my zone on turn 1. That's good. There was a big empty space here, so we put these scouts here to try to keep it safe. Calgar trying to reinforce this side. The captain is hoping he can survive long enough to run into this corner. We got Tigurius. We got some lone up infiltrators doing shenanigans there to help screen. And then we have in reserve deep striking inceptors and eradicators. So we're hoping we'll have angles. It's kind of tight here if we'll be able to shoot. Thousand Sun side, he's kind of staged a little more defensively, hiding behind the walls. There's only so many places. I found most of my guys were all competing for the same spots. Magnus and crew got plenty of jumping off points. He debated whether to put Magnus in deep strike. He's got his cultists ready to do cultist things, and then guys ready to screen. So interesting. We know we can raise banners with battle line. I'm actually have a couple battle line units, so we could raise banners on the first turn, score a couple secondaries, and then that's it. So let's roll to see who goes first, and then we'll come back after the first movement phase is done. All right, Mac was gracious enough to not say no, at least. Let me rearrange my movement up slightly after I saw the oath. But we're going to try a little trick and see if it works. It's an interesting tactic. I don't know that it's super useful against Thousand Suns because they have lots of ways to maneuver around it. But again, we haven't played this mission, so kind of trying some things out here. So Ultramarines going first. Scout move. He scouted his scouts up. I kind of retroactively scouted my guys up once I kind of decided what I was doing. But scouting these guys forward with the intention of trying to get an angle here. I spent a CP to put them into Tactical Doctrine on the first turn. So that way, if he moves within 9 of me, I can move D6. Now goes to full 6 in Tactical Doctrine behind the wall. He could Doombolt me. He could move in the shooting phase with his double move and get around it. But if he doesn't, theoretically, I keep him from moving close to me or onto the objective. If he does, I get to get back to safety, or pseudo safety, as safe as I ever could be. These scouts hung out, and cursors here moved up. Now, interesting mission rule, raise the banners. I thought it was an action. Max said no. It just says if we're on it with battle line, it automatically happens. I'm like, does that mean I can advance? He's like, it looks like it. So those guys advanced. They rolled a 1, so they didn't go very far, but they're on the objective. Assault intercessors. The regular intercessors here made it sticky. They just stood still. They're kind of screening so hanging out. So we got 2 banners up. So already we scored 2 points. Go secondaries. Yay. We're going to do some shooting. We marked these little enlightened bow guys because that's really all we could see. See if we can't kill them with some scouts. Set up my little trap. I'll probably spend my other CP, 2 CP, to try to ignore cover. Make it a little tougher for them. My secondaries, I drew area denial. I had an option to advance my incursors to the center. I didn't really want to throw them away, but there it was. I could get it if I really wanted it. So we're just going to hang out, do the things. The other secondary I got was extend battle lines, so we've already gotten that. So get my points, do some shooting. We'll come back, see if I kill those guys. Now, oath and scouting up so I can stand still in my movement phase to get +1 to hit for the heavies. didn't really matter when I rolled a bunch of 2s and 1s to wound. So I was able to kill 1.5 of the bow guys. Not very much. I'm standing here. Hopefully I didn't die for nothing. And we're going to his turn too. I'll score my points for extend battle lines and my 2 banners. I guess that just happens at the end. I don't know when that happens, but
You get your secondaries. You've achieved that secondary.
yeah, we got those banner points for later. Can't take them away. Let's see what Mac draws on turn 1.
So turn 1, I drew Area Denial and Cleanse. I was able to move my cultists up and get Area Denial. They also cleansed. We over here, the Zanger Enlightened cleansed that objective. I was able to touch it and get get my extra secondaries. He cowardly moved his scouts away. Zanger's got me an extra CP and got me a secondary point here. I teleported my Terminators here, who were about to move again on this side of the objective and make a hot mess of everything over here. We kind of developed this side to protect Magnus. We've got our Lord of Forbidden Lore in the middle to go, hey, why don't you come over here and touch this guy? So let's see what happens. The casino gun has come out to play too. We're going to roll some dice and see what happens. So we did some things. Terminators came over here, targeted that unit. Psychic Bolters turns out it's pretty good if you don't have psychic defense. Casino gun rolled low shots, rolled 5 shots, but he ended up rolling 2 6s. The indirect change is actually kind of big. This is my first time playing with the only hits on 4s. We dropped some shots. Magnus ended up dropping quite a few shots shooting indirect. We did have just enough to kill the Incursors and the Assault Intercessors with both characters. So pretty strong start. I'm in a better board position, I think, than I anticipated. Let's see what he draws, or we can go ahead and go to turn 2, and we'll do it live. So let's draw his secondaries. I assume you wanted to pitch Area Denial, Thomas?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and pitch Area Denial. And let's go select missions. So here we go. We're going to do it for Thomas. He gets Cull the Horde and Defend Stronghold.
So you don't have
I don't have any that you can cull. So let's undo that. Do it again. He got Assassinate and Defend Stronghold. So let's see how turn 2 goes.
All right. Now I'm really wishing I had Gilman because I need 2 oaths right now. I've put all the reserves in. I'm in the Devastator Doctrine. It is go time. There's no other word for this. And I don't know if I'm going to get all the work done here.
Top of 2, how's it going?
It's always go time in the birdhouse. So we've got some scouts that moved up. We've this. They just killed all our friends. Of course, they got to get retribution. But I can't let the casino gun do what he just did. He didn't really go too hard with the -1 minus the hit.
He's an 18-inch loan up.
He's good. I think I'm within 18. It's just my guns are only 18. He's trying to trick me over there, this guy constantly. Eradicators are dropping in. That's all we really got. We got some lone ops. We got some stern guard. We got all this stuff. I mean, not lone ops. Dev wounds. We're going to throw grenades. We're going to do all the stuff to those Terminators. We got the tank in advance because it's Dev Doctrine. It rolled a 2. It tried to make it difficult, but with the rotates for free because it's on a round base, just able to get line of sight. We've got these cultists here that are giving us problems, so we peeked our nose out with a couple units that could shoot. We don't really want to stick our nose out because there's lots of things that are scary here, but we have all the things exposed, so he's got his hands full. We bounced with the scouts. They rolled a 6, so they were able to get on some objective. These guys are only OC1. He's got a few guys there, so I'll have to kill more than my fair share to take that point from him. I don't want him to have primary, but I don't have a lot of choices. I could have just assaulted here, but there's Flamer guys, so we couldn't really go there. And Magnus now could heroic intervene for 1 CP. We can't do that. So all the choices were like, oh, this is not good. But we got the bolter set up to do the things. We got the Eradicator set up to overwatch the beast if it decides it wants to move up, which it does have all the mortals. It will move up if I let it. So it's not ideal. It's just really, he's got a blank save. He's got a reroll save in the bank. How many hits is it going to take to do the Terminators in? I don't have a lot of melee there. I opted to advance with Tigurius to get on the point, and then I rolled a 1 and didn't make it. So now I can't even charge with them. Not that he would want to, but the choice is now not there. So I don't even have that many guys on the point. I don't know. You're OC what?
OC1.
So maybe I have enough.
I think it works too, but everybody's...
Let's do some shooting. This could go bad. I just need to really pump him here. And we'll come back. All right, it was Brew's shooting turn. I was able to hit and wound with the Lancer one time. I forgot that they're -1 to wound, so I was like, I forgot to reroll the saves. I don't think it would have mattered at that point. He had a reroll save and a thing, but between the Lancer doing a wound, he blanked the damage. I was going to even throw a grenade. I didn't even have to. The Stern Guard Tigris killed 3, even though he was taking 3 up saves.
Okay, he rolled 12 shots.
His 2d6...
12 hits, 9 wounds.
2d6 blasts. He rolled 11. So he did 12 total shots. He did strength 6, so he was wounding on 4s. He rolled
failed 6 out of 9 3-ups. Get out of here.
He was very salty. It was great. And then the Eradicators are like, my turn. My 8 shots turned into 10 wounds. I rolled lots of 5s and 6s. -1 to wound. I still wounded fairly well. So he failed. He only passed like 2 or 3 of those. So even if he rolled a save, it was just too much. So that let the Inceptors do Inceptor things. They didn't have rerolls. They didn't plus the hit.
Inceptors do Inceptor things.
He killed all my Incursors, so I couldn't do the full Monty. But they did 18 shots. They missed 6. They hit 3 6s, so they got to hit 18 times. They wounded
18 times.
18 times with the Twin Link. All the wounds. He failed enough saves. Casino Gun paid the price for picking up my friends. Between the Intercessors shooting their guns and Calgar's couple of friends here shooting and the Scouts who advanced and shot, we've got the Cultist down to 1 save. Unfortunately, I advanced, so I cannot charge him. So there's still a Cultist left alive, but he is not going to hold that point. He still has 2 objectives, though. Can't stop that. So he'll get some primary. But let's go to his turn, too. I did pick up Assassinate, and I drew Defend. So he's got to take my home base from me here, potentially to stop that. But otherwise, we'll see what turn 2 brings for the Thousand Suns. Pretty good retribution, but I'm exposed, so it's going to hurt next turn.
So my turn 2, I drew Assassinate and Overwhelming Force. Assassinate's probably going to get pitched. Overwhelming Force is a given. These poor Scouts are going to get flamed by the Infernal Master. Magnus flew over. The Warp Beast backed up. The Lord of Forbidden Lore came out of the box there. We're going to try to Doombolt down. We're going to double Doombolt and try to take down the Inceptors. And then try to shoot with the Warp Beast into the Inceptors. Try to peg them down to take his mobility down. We moved out of range of the Eradicators. So we're going to try to play the longer game now. His clapback was a little harder than I expected. If I didn't lose the Casino Gun, I can still be more aggressive. But his dice were good and mine were bad. It happens. So we're gonna play back and play a little more passive. This is the bottom of 2, so we'll see how it goes. Let's do the Doom Bolts on camera. So we're gonna double Doom Bolt, one from the Aspiring and one from the Lord, into, let's do the back unit of Inceptors.
It's all 1 unit.
Oh, it's all 1 unit? Oh, that makes the decision easier. So here's the first one. Gets D3 plus 3, so does 4.
Nice.
And the next one does D3 plus 3, so 5. It does 5. So that's 9 total.
9 mortals. So that's 3 guys.
Then the Warp Beast is going to shoot down there. Let's do the D6 plus 3 shotgun.
Is this it's all shooting now, right?
Correct. Okay, so here we go. D6 plus 3. So that is the big 6. So 9 shots. 3, 6, 9. Hitting on 3s. We're going to drop 2. And this is strength 9. So 3s. We drop 1.
Jeez.
So that's going to be 6 wounds. At AP 2, 2 damage.
Cover up AP is 5. It's all back to 3s. 2 damage, 1.5.
So 1.5 more. So we're down to 1 1/3 Inceptor. Hey, that's better.
All right, turn 3. I pick up 10 points for the primary. I got a little risky, and I probably should have thought about it a bit more. The Devastators, or the Eradicators, I put them in Devastator Doctrine. It cost me a CP, and I advanced. I needed a 4+ to get in range to shoot at the Warp Beasts and or the little guys. I rolled a 2, which would have been enough to get me 2 guys in range of just the guys. I didn't really want to shoot them with eradicators. So I CP re-rolled and now invested 2 CP. I rolled a 3. So not nearly enough. That would give me 1 or 2 guys more, maybe. Probably only 1 because of the spacing. And then I would just be exposed to shoot at them. And he still would have the Warp Beast, which is really what I'd rather kill, which would extend his range. He would just doom bolt me into oblivion from way back there and not really risk anything. Not ideal. So 2 CP just to advance into this pocket. Terrible. Calgar, he rolled a 6 for his advance. So that led to like long pondering. I would need an 8 or a 9. He has reactive moves on these little jump guys, so he could move away if I moved within 8 inches of him. So it would basically need a 9. What would I get? I could potentially try to charge, but that's not really great. So I put him out here because I'm going to shoot. I'm going to try to like do some work on this unit. Maybe I get lucky. I have a lot of 2 damage guns. Don't kill him, but do damage to him. And now Calgar's here somewhat protected. He's exposed to all of this with the double moves and stuff, but I'm here. I'm going to make him do work. The Eradicators are waiting in the wings to do things. We have the tank here to help. We have the bolt guys. They advanced so that they don't get overwatched here, managing the ranges and the vision. They're going to try to shoot those guys and try to kill this squad. They got 4 invulnerable saves, so when I ignore cover, I'll use my last CP, put them on this 4 Imble with an Oath. And we got a couple guys here to help out. The Librarian can overcharge their lone ops. So my objectives I drew recover assets. So Tigris moved up to do it in no man's land because I'm just outside of my zone there. And I have to do with somebody back here. Oh no, it could have been them. I advanced them. Oh, mistakes were made. So one of these units back here, I guess I moved with the incursors, or these guys. Did they advance?
Yeah, they did.
No. The tank will have to do it. Well, that's fine. The tank will do it. And I do deploy deploy homers. So the scouts have bounced off the board at the end of that turn, so they're going to pick up. I had all this planned out, and then I go and advance those guys like a dummy. They'll get the 4 points back here. He's debating whether he wants to overwatch with Magnus. Maybe he kills him. He's not going to. So that'll be the end of the movement. Let's come back with the shooting. Hopefully I've killed all those guys, and we'll wrap this up. All right, lackluster. I went from killing them all to killing almost nothing. These guys shot. They got 6 hits with the Oath. I was like, do I fish? I really probably should, but I didn't. I just rolled for the regular, so I got 6 hits out of my 6 shots. No 6s. Rolled 5 wounds. He failed 2 4-ups. So lost 2 guys, but he's like, do I want a blanket? I could just grow guys back because this is the sorcerer guy. So I'm just going to take it. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'll shoot over here. And he failed 2 saves. And he's like, I'll blanket, reroll. I don't know.
So the Infernal. Flip 1 to a 6.
Yeah.
I flip the save to a 6, and then I blank the damage.
Yeah, so he basically only failed 2, but he was able to like avoid the damage altogether. That is not what I wanted by a long shot. Sad. We score some points, but now we're super exposed. For both units, it's not even like depleted at all. I thought I'd kill a couple. We do have the Eradicators waiting, but that's about all we got. So that's the end of my turn. I will score 4 for deploy locust or whatever it is called from these scouts. And then I have to live with my other 2 units to get recover assets. So on to turn 3 for the Thousand Suns.
Let's do my secondaries. I have Assassinate still and Establish Locust.
Oh, we got his locust. That'd be interesting.
So we are the changer of ways, and we changed our plan. Instead of being defensive, we're going to be a little more aggressive. We're going to try to split and make him make a decision on the Eradicators. Magnus is the obvious threat. So Magnus moved yay. Units went yay. Armin's unit is going to move again on that side. We're going to do the ritual again, his free ritual, to AP 2 additional on Calgar's unit. We'll try to kill Calgar over here. If everything goes well, Magnus will charge the scouts in the back, kill them, get out of the line of sight. We push the Warp Beast forward to make a mess over here. The Lord of Forbidden Lore is here. We're going to try to mess with these guys. So let's see how it goes.
Heavy sigh. So brutal. He was able to move just outside of 9 and then use his free move again, or he used the move again ritual to get within range of me, so I couldn't react and move away. Armand uses once per game to do the indirect, basically to give me extra AP. So he put me on an extra AP2. Turned off my saves. The old turned off my saves. AP2, so you effectively maybe AP3 and 6s would be AP4. So I had Armor of Contempt. And I just took it in the face from Armand. I was not on the objective, so he didn't get full rerolls to wound. I thought maybe that would help. But he started off the Doombolt rolling a 6, doing 8 mortal wounds, picking up 8 wounds of, I need Blade of Wounds for Calgar to hold on. And then by the time he got done with these 2 squads, he was able to pick up Gilliman or Calgar even with the Fort Feeling the Pains. Rough. So that left Magnus free to shoot at my intercessors. They were careful to be not on the objective to him not get reroll wounds. But he just rolled hot. Magnus has enough firepower to kill those guys pretty easily without rolling hot, but he rolled pretty hot. And did a lot of shots, a lot of hits along the wounds. They all died, including Uriel. So he got his assassinate. And then some. Brutal. Over here, I put that librarian. Why is he so close? He had plenty of range, 24 inches. During his turn, I rolled a 1 for my D6 shots and missed. So it was terrible. So he moved up, and now he's within 10 inches. He was able to shoot my lone out guys. He killed 3 of the dudes from his shooting. Terrible.
Not making a single field.
I didn't make any 6-ups. I had a couple 5s, so lucky I only lost 3, I guess, but still not ideal. I'm pretty pushing the corner. There's nothing left to kill all these things. They're just Ultramarines. They're on the open. They should be easy to kill, but with all the saves, it's not. It's rough. I will get my recover assets because he didn't kill those units, but it's looking pretty thin on the ground. So we'll see what we get next turn to try to score some points, but I think the T-Sun's going to start pulling on. I'll have a choice now to do a secret mission, but he's killed all my battle lines. My Warlord has just died, and I have to hold 3 objectives against all this? I don't think I'm going to do a secret mission.
At the bottom of 3 is currently 47, Thomas 49.
It's close, 49 to 47, but he's about to start picking up points more. I have a few points. I have a few turns, but I'm going to have to make it work. All right, top of turn 4. It's looking very tough. Losing Calgar in that last turn hurt. Shooting and not doing any damage. After making that 12-inch charge, maybe it would have been better to go for that 9-inch charge. If I was going to die like that, maybe at least take out Armand on the way out. I probably could have, should have, did things way differently. So with that in mind, I got to try to recover. We're not out of this yet. Let's do some work. So here's the thought process. We've drawn turn 4, marked for death and behind enemy lines. So we know we have some scouts in the backfield. They're going to get some points for behind enemy lines. Good job, scouts. They don't have much longer in this life, so we're going to try to get max value out while we can. Marked for death, the units that he marked. There's just no way to really get at him, unfortunately. So I'm just going to have to put that one on the back burner. Can't get back there, do all the things. So we'll probably pitch that at the end of the turn. So what I did decide was we're going to try to do some work on this unit. We're going to try to kill the beast over here that's threatening my base and basically giving him 36 inches on all his things. And then we're going to try to send my tank over here into Armand. We got a lot of tokens here, a lot of choices. I want to oath everybody, but I just can't. So it's really between Tigurius hitting on 2s, re-rolling with the Stern Guard. They'll give re-rolls to wound if on their oath target, so it could be good there. But they can't all see, so they're going to have to split fire onto that beast. Or here with the tank really needs some help. It only has bolters. I have a CP. I could tank shock. Depends on if things go well. Worth it. Here, that CP, we really wanted a second one from Calgar to put these guys in a Devastator Doctrine so they could advance and shoot. They don't like this. Also, it makes the Relic hit harder. Now they're just going to be wounding on sustain on 6s, but they're going to try to kill here. So yeah, that CP is kind of, we got a lot of uses for it. We could throw a grenade if we need to. There's a lot of choices. We got the Librarian who's going to also try to help out. So there's a lot of shooting to try to kill these 2-3 units. And then over here, we do have a sticky objective thanks to the intercessors. So the tank leaving won't cost us, but we don't want him to double move with these little bow guys, the Enlightened, onto my objective. So these scouts are going to get max value, like I said, and try to kill them. That'll be the second time a scout unit has shot at them. If I can kill them, at least he can't just easily get over there on this next turn. It's going to be tough. We're going to do the dice and see what happens. Come on, dice. I had this whole talking and I didn't even record. So that was such a great turn of shooting for me, and he just rolled out of his mind.
Yeah, it was a good turn for you.
Let's talk through it because it warrants some discussion here. Eradicators, I did not have the CP. We went through it. I went with just straight shooting. I needed 6 sustained. I rolled like 3 or 4 6s. I rolled a bunch of wounds. I said, take 8 wounds, beastie. You should be dead. He's like, I make 6 of them. I make 5 of them. I'll blank 1. So now just take 2 damage. And I was like, all right, 2d6, 8 damage. He's like, all right, I hit a bunch of feel no pains. I take 4 or whatever.
Yeah, 4.
And I'm like, okay, well, Stern Guard shoot. We're going to shoot over here with Tigurius. I'm going to pop 4 up feel no pain against psychic attack. So he takes a bunch of 4 up feel no pains from Tigurius' saves. He only loses a couple guys. Stern Guard shoot, kill a couple more. All the Stern Guard couldn't shoot, so they shot here. Didn't do any damage. And we're like, okay, well, that sucks. Librarian's like, I'm going to shoot. I'm going 2 shots. He's rolled 1 shot for his D6 shots for 2 turns in a row. He rolls 2 shots this time. I'm like, oh my gosh. Do something, Librarian. But then he rolls box cards for his damage, which is devastating wounds. So I do 5 wounds to him, and he hits like 2 or 3 5-ups there. So he's still alive. So I charge him with Tigurius. Power Fist hits him a couple times. Tigurius hits him a couple times. So D3 damage is 2 damage. I get him down to 1 wound. And I'm like, all right, well, now let me slap you with all the regular strength 4 attacks. I need 6 of the wound. Take 2 saves. He fails 1 of them. I'm like, all right, just die here. And he hits the feel no pain. Of course he does. So the stupid beastie is alive with 1 wound. He has not swung back, but the way he's rolling, I might just lose that whole squad. Over here, the Lancer is like, well, let's do some work. So I shot all the bullets here, did some work, tank shot. Actually, I shot the little bullets here, and I shot 2 big guns down at Magnus. I'm like, well, he's used his blank damage. If I get lucky, because we all need a little luck sometimes, I might just like 1-shot with Magnus. Unlikely, but maybe. So I shoot him. He passes 1 of the saves. I'm like, good, at least I'll be able to do some damage. He's like, hold up, let me re-roll it. He rolled it. Spun around on a 1 and a 3 forever and ever, and it flipped over to a 4, and it didn't take any damage. I'm like, what the crap? So then I'm like, well, I'm committed to this plan. Tank shock. Do 5 mortals. Yay, new tank shock. I get more dice. Then I'm like, I slap you with 1 guy. Hit a guy. So he's about to punch me back. So I did as much damage as I could here, I think, as you could ask for. Over here, the scouts. Look at this guy. Why is he alive? You know what he did? I shot him with all the shots. Sniper rifle missed. Shotguns hit. Missile launcher. I did the crack missile. I was debating whether the frag or the crack. He's got 2 wounds on this 1 guy. AP2. All he has to do is hit a 6 to be alive. If he doesn't, good chance he's dead. What does that Joker do? What do you think he does? This guy's still alive? He rolled a 6. Like, golly. All the saves, all the stuff. Let's go look at his fighting. What a stressful turn. We'll come back after the dust is settled. This is Armon swinging on my tank. He needs 5 to wound out of his 5 attacks. This is what he rolled to wound.
Here's the Aspiring Sword 2.
Get out of here.
We hit twice. Strength 7, so I need 5s. We're rolling 1s. So no wounds from him.
What is this, AP3?
This is AP1.
AP1. So
and one of them's a dead wound.
4 ups. Oh, yes. I can roll good, too. So no damage from that except for the dead wounds. Jeez. Yeah, stop this rolling.
So T-Sun's turn 4. I get 10 points. I drew no prisoners and bring it down. So the only bring it down target and a no prisoners target. What makes sense here, this is going to be a hot mess in a turn, in the end of my turn. They've got to go. They're really his only mobile element. That has to die. The tank has to die. So I think Armin's going to fall back. We're going to move again to get onto his home objective. Take that from him. Remove some primary. The Infernal Master squad is going to have to come up and deal with the tank. Magnus is going to have to come over here and deal with these guys. And the Exalted Sork's going to have to go to the center and maybe hold that to force him to come out with those guys on his turn 5. These guys are going to get behind the wall, shimmy shake away from them, and let's go from there.
All right, some dramatic dice rolls, but the end result was still the same. This tank took all the shooting in the world, and it took Magnus to finally finish it off. But he was able to do that. He double moved over here, so he was able to steal my sticky objective and take that primary for me. Over here, the big beastie was debating whether to fall back, and he's like, I'll just shoot you. And so he did his mortals. Tigurius has 4-ups against mortals. He did Doombolt. He rolled only 4 mortals on that. Hit some saves, 4-up feeling the pains against mortals and psychics. So Tigurius stayed alive and then was able to punch the beast out in combat. So still alive there. But the damage is done. We got to get some work done. He picked up 2 things for no prisoners, and he got his bring it down for killing my tank. So he scored some secondaries. We're on to turn 5. It's the last turn. So let's draw some things and see if we can get some points. All right, the final turn. I don't think I have enough juice to pull it off. It's really close right now, but he's got the bottom of the turn. He's going to take the primary. Don't think there's any way I could stop that. I drew, though. We're going to try to score as many points as we can. We just realized that at the end of his turn, battle line unit, he picked up a banner, and double moving over here, picked up a banner. Raised banners. It's like banners everywhere. Freaking Thousand Suns menace. But I picked up Overwhelming Force, so I got to kill units on objectives. Thankfully here, I have to stay outside of 9 because he has a reactive move. But I swear, 3 turns of scout shooting will kill the last guy if I have anything to say about it. I wanted to charge him, but I'm like, he might move away, so I couldn't. I spent my 2 CP, 1 to auto pass there, and then 1 to put these guys in the Dev Doctrine. They ran. I also do Sabotage, so that's why I needed to pass that, obviously for the scoring primary, but now I could just scored over there. Sabotage says you have to stay alive to the next person's turn, I believe. So I thought about doing with the scouts in his deployment zone, but there's no way they live next to Magnus. So the librarian over there is pretty safe. Tigurius didn't want to get flamed, so we tried to bait him out with this. He did not go for it. We got a guy here, so there's a miracle world where I somehow contest this, but he still would have 3 objectives, so it doesn't really even matter. So we just got to kill these guys to get max 5 on overall 1. Let's go do the things. All right, the dust has settled. Wow, what a turn a turn makes. Like, now my shooting popped off. He didn't make all the saves. Tigurius just, like, made him take 6 2-damage saves. He opted not to do the 4-up feel no pain, and the guy just wilted. Which maybe he should have or could have. Yeah, maybe he could have, should have. That's why Tigurius does not get hurt from his hazardous. So these guys were like, well, we don't have anybody to shoot. We could shoot here. And we were like, wait a minute. Armon, 1 lone dude was sticking out, so a couple guys can pop off. I rolled all the 6s. They were in the Dev Doctrine. It exploded on 5s. There's no more Armon. He took it in the face. He took 8 melta wounds. It was gross with no rerolls. So I got the no prisoners and then some, or overwhelming force and then some. So
I drew defend stronghold and recover assets.
So we got to do his bottom of turn 5. We'll come back and see what the final tally is. We're trying to do the math here, double check the score. So we got the final score. The tally is 89 to 73,000 Suns. Pull it out. It really kind of came down to the primary. He was able to pull that out 45-30. Obviously, he had a lot of more models at the end, so picking up 15 on the end, me only getting 5, stopping that primary hurt. He was able to recover assets on the last turn, getting that draw on the last turn because it's an action that normally takes to the next turn, but he was able to do it at the bottom was big, and then getting the full 6 was a huge bump. I had a little bit of a lead on the secondaries going into that, and of course he had a little bit more banners just walking around casually picking up banners, and there's no way to take them off, so once they go down he just got a point. So with his Rubric Marines, you're like, double move, banner point. You're like, yeah, that's how that works. So interesting. What a great game. Some crazy dice rolls. That's it. The board stayed at the end. The Eradicators did Overwatch. They did roll 2 6s. They exploded. And he's just like, I just make all the saves. So Magnus, what a jerk. But thanks, Max. And thanks, everyone, for watching. If you enjoyed this content, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Do all the things. And, we'll see you next time.